Hello, dear viewers. Today I come to talk to you about the archaeological site of Chiapas, Izapa, to locate in time and space, infrastructure, and establish why it is an important tourist destination, its cultural and social value at the national level. It is possible that the name of Izapa is a deformation of the Nahuatl word Atzagua, place of the water, or place of the river of salt. It can also be the word Ixtapan, on the sand. Izapa is located near the border of Mexico and Guatemala, approximately 7 miles east of the town of Tapachula, Chiapas. The archaeological zone consists of 8 main groups of mounds. The largest pyramid is Mount 60, which measures approximately 335 square feet with a height of over 65 feet high. Most of the structures were built of earth and filled with rubble and lined with river pebbles. The entire matrix was sealed with surface clay that has since eroded. Its cultural importance is due to the fact that the Mixe-Soque culture, which is related to the archaeological Olmecs, developed in this place since at least 1500 BC. The traces of the pre-Mayan culture are evident, which are later present in the entire Maya area of the classic. The presence of Mexican enclaves in order to collect taxes in the area of the Chiapas coast is evident in all those towns that have names in the Nahuatl language. From Tonalá, Chiapas to El Salvador in Central America. The various mounds in the area present an arrangement of square or patios, which were named according to how they were working at present, groups A and B, in the nuclear zone of monuments, and group F towards the north of the complex are those that are open to visit. Izapa has a continuous occupation from 1500 BC to 1200 AD. The regularity in the orientations and layout of the spaces, as well as the constants in the positioning of monuments, indicate a constructive activity under the same basic planning patterns. Izapa's sculptures integrate commemorative and mythological ideas about the human being and nature, with both practical and spiritual utility. Its greatest contribution in the sculpture involved in the arrangement of stelae and altars, a cultural element associated with the most important mounds and which later appears in the Mayan area during the classical era. In many of these stelae, there are portrait characters that appear in the legends of the Popol Vuh, a book that narrates the ancient original traditions of the Maya of the highlands. The Izapeño style developed over 700 years, from 600 BC to 100 AD, was distributed throughout what is now the Chiapas coast and the Guatemalan coast. It is distinguished by steely carved in low relief that present a vertical arrangement divided into three planes: the celestial, the earthly, and the underworld, presenting rich and allegorical ritual scenes with deities, characters, and descriptions of the oral narrative that is later distributed throughout the Yucatan Peninsula. Monuments were found mainly within the confines of plazas arranged at the base of platforms and pyramids. Archaeologists located 89 stelae, of which 38 have some portions of their surface curved. They were frequently paired with altars anticipating the stela altar complexes that characterized classical Maya sites for centuries later. Stela 1 describes a water deity, or its imitation catching fish in a basket. The prominent jaw and long lips are characteristic of Chak, the rain god in classical Maya art. Its importance derived from the traffic of cocoa and probably imported obsidian. Today, the remains appear probably imported obsidian. Today, the remains appear as earth mounds and pebble platforms. The structures that surround squares formerly supported temples, in many of which are carved and unworked stone stele, as well as altars and other stone monuments. Among the latter are stone spheres and columns, possible solar presentations. The sculptural style of the site has led to the talk of the Izapeño culture, which, although influenced by the Olmecs, took on its own characteristics that spread in turn to other places on the coast of Chiapas and Guatemala, and even further afield. Izapeña sculpture was basically religious in origin and function, and seems to record mythical and historical events as well as religious and cosmogonic concepts. Izapa had more than 160 buildings between pyramids and platforms of up to 20 meters high around squares. In front of the buildings, in the different squares, there are 252 stone monuments, most of them sculpted, and 89 stele engraved with religious scenes. Usually, at the foot of this is a stone altar in the shape of a toad, disc, or a square. It has been divided into several sectors called groups, which were named with the letters from A to H. In general, each of these letters referred to a square surrounded by step bases, pyramids, or platforms. With the exception of Group F, which is located next to the road, the others hide among the plantations, so it is better to visit the area with a guide. The scenes recorded on the monuments of Izapa help to understand the life of this ancient city. It represents the evolution of the Olmec art to the Mayan that developed later. If you want to visit this archaeological site, there are the following recommendations: to travel the 2.5 kilometers between the main groups of buildings that can be visited. It is necessary to wear comfortable shoes like clothing, an umbrella, or a sleeve. It rains in the afternoons from 2 p.m. Bring enough drinking water. On a clear day, it is possible to appreciate the geographical relationship between the highest mounts in Izapa and the volcanoes of Tacana to the north, and Tajumulco to the east. Other details that can be seen in the main stele are water deities, beheaded people, which became common as a sacrificial practice in the classic, and other elements and icons that are seen in later elements in much of Mesoamerica. It is accessed through Highway 200 or the Ruta de la Costa y Soconusco. Kilometer 304. There are a series of groups of buildings both to the north and to the south of said highway. Cars drive to areas where there are parking lots. Live the story of this archaeological site. Visit Izapa. Thank you.